Hello students, I am Madhukar Surpin, Department of Chemistry, Vijayanagara College, Hospet, USK University, Ballari. I will start this chapter Chemical Bonding 2. In this chapter Chemical Bonding 2, we will study now various bond theory. Shortly we can call this as VBT. This was proposed by Pauling and Slater in 1931. The main features or postulates of this VBT. The first one, a covalent bond is formed due to the overlap of the outermost or valence of filled orbitals of the combining atoms. During the combination of atoms, the half-filled orbitals must be there. Those are containing unpaired electron. Then the strength of the bond is determined by the extent of overlap. Strength depends on the extension of the overlap. If the overlap is maximum, the bond is strong. If the overlap is less, the bond is weak. Second, the two half-filled orbitals involved in the covalent bond formation should contain electrons with opposite spins. That means the one electron is revolving in the clockwise direction, another electron is revolving in the anti-clockwise direction. The two electrons then move under the influence of both the nuclei. There are two nuclei present in this system for the combination of two atoms. 3. The completely filled orbitals are orbitals containing two unpaired electrons do not take part in the bond formation. This is very important. If the orbital is containing two electrons, there is no formation of bond. If the orbital is containing only one electron or unpaired electron, the bond is forming. Fourth one, during covalent bond formation, the energy of the molecule decreases. Energy decreases, and the molecule becomes more stable. Due to the decreases energy, the molecule becomes more stable. Fifth postulate, the extent of overlapping of orbitals is as follows. SS overlap is greater than SP overlap greater than PP overlap. That means SS overlap is to the maximum extent, PP overlap is to the minimum extent. Sixth one, overlapping along the axis is more stronger than overlapping on sideways. The example is this one. You know that p orbital is dumbbell shape. If the two p orbitals are joined together like this, so during this overlapping along the axis, the bond is strong. If the two orbitals are overlapping sideways, the bond is weak. Last seventh postulate in this is covalent bonds are directional. That is, S orbital, you know that it is spherically symmetrical in all the three axes, form a bond in any direction. So p orbitals are directed along three axes, x axis, y axis and z axis, and therefore will form stable bond in the direction of these axes. By using these 7 postulates of valence bond theory, we study now types of overlap of atomic orbitals. The first one is SS overlap. Here, half-filled s orbital of one atom overlaps with the half-filled s orbital of another atom. The example for this is hydrogen molecule, H2 molecule. So one hydrogen atom is having this s orbital, spherically symmetrical in shape, overlaps with the another s orbital of the another hydrogen atom. In this way, this type of overlap we can call it as SS overlap, and there is a formation of sigma bond here. B. SP overlap. Here, half-filled s orbital of one atom overlaps with the half-filled p orbital of another atom. The example is hydrogen fluoride molecule, HF molecule. Here, s orbital of this hydrogen combines with p orbital of the F. It is dumbbell shaped to form the SP overlap. Here also there is a formation of sigma bond. You can see that overlapping using by this shaded area here and here. Next C is PP overlap. Here there are two cases. One is axial overlap, another one is sideways overlap. We discuss on this axial overlap first. Here half-filled p orbital of one atom overlaps with half-filled p orbital of another atom along the axis. This is very important, along the axis. The example is F2 molecule, fluorine molecule. Here, one fluorine atom is having this p orbital, dumbbell shape, combines with another p orbital, again it is a dumbbell shape. These are along the axis, if they will overlap, you will get this pp overlap along the axis. This is along the axis. So there is a formation of sigma bond here. Then what is the sigma bond? Bond formed by axial, that is along the axis, or head-on overlap of half-filled atomic orbitals of the two atoms is called sigma bond. It is called sigma bond. Second is sideways overlap. Here, half-filled p orbital of one atom overlaps sideways with half-filled p orbital of another atom. For example, in this case is ethylene molecule, CH4 molecule. Between carbon and carbon, we will see that two bonds. One bond is sigma, another bond is pi. So along with the sigma bond. That means pi bond is formed along with the sigma bond. You will see that here p orbital dumbbell shape combines with or overlaps with the p orbital, again dumbbell shape. It is not along the axis. There is a sideways overlapping here. So this pp overlaps sideways like this. So there is a formation of sigma bond. Here this is weak because of this extent of overlap is less. So this is, what is this pi bond now? We have to study now what is this pi bond. Bond formed by sideways overlap of half-filled atomic orbitals. Shortly this is atomic orbitals AOs of the two atoms is called pi bond. Pi bond. Then what are the differences between the sigma bond and the pi bond? Sigma bond formed by axial overlap of two atomic orbitals. Pi bond formed by sideways overlap of two atomic orbitals. Sigma bond, second strong bond, you know that maximum overlap is there, so it is a strong bond. And pi bond, there is a minimum overlapping is here, so it is a weak bond. This is the second difference. Third difference is sigma bond is formed not along with the pi bond, but we see that pi bond is formed along with the sigma bond. Always pi bond is formed along with the sigma bond. These are the three differences between the sigma bond and pi bond. In the examination, they will ask this question for usually 2 marks. And valence bond theory postulates they will ask in examination for usually 4 marks. Lastly, we will discuss these limitations of valence bond theory. They will ask this question usually in the examination for 2 marks. The first one, VBT does not give any explanation of the formation of coordinate bond in which one of the bonded atoms provides both the electrons. In the case of this covalent bond formation, sharing of the two electrons take place, but in the case of coordinate bond, one atom provides both the electrons. This is not explained in the valence bond theory. Second is, it does not say the paramagnetic nature of O2 molecule, oxygen molecule. According to valence bond theory, oxygen O2 is diamagnetic, but experiments shows O2 is paramagnetic as it contains unpaired electrons. Any substance which contain unpaired electrons is paramagnetic. Oxygen is containing unpaired electrons, so it is paramagnetic. But according to VBT theory, this is diamagnetic. 3. This theory does not consider the formation of odd electron molecules or ions. Example taken, this is H2 plus. This is containing only one electron, so it is odd electron. And bonding in metals. It does not explain this formation of the odd electron and also bonding in the metals. Fourth one, it fails to explain satisfactorily the geometry of shapes of molecules like methane, you know the tetrahedral in shape, ammonia is pyramidal in shape, water is bend shape or V shape, etc. Fifth one, this theory does not discuss the energy of the electrons. So these are the limitations of this valence bond theory. This chemical bonding too is there in the BSc second sem. So thank you.